Picture this. You're grabbing a quick falafel wrap from a street cart in downtown Manhattan, run by Ahmed, a former off-Broadway stagehand who swapped spotlights for spices. A reporter from the New York Times overhears him griping about Hollywood dreams and asks, "Who in the world would you kill to shake hands with?" Ahmed doesn't hesitate. Marlon Brando, man, the Godfather himself. Cut to 1999, and the paper turns it into a real-life quest. They hunt for a chain of real connections, friends, family, folks who call each other by first names only, to link Ahmed's cart in the Big Apple to Brando's Beverly Hills bungalow. Starts simple. Ahmed's got a cousin in LA who's a grip on movie sets. That cousin's dating a script supervisor who went to NYU with the assistant to the producer of Don Juan DeMarco, that 1995 flick where Brando plays a shrink unraveling Johnny Depp's Don Quixote fever dream. 6 steps. 6 handshakes. From falafel sauce stains to Oscar gold. Boom. Just like that, a nobody's linked to a legend. This isn't some feel-good movie plot. It's the spark behind 6 degrees of separation. The big idea? In a planet packed with 8 billion souls, any two of us are tied by a thread of no more than 6 personal connections. Your barista aunt in Seattle? She's probably 4 hops from Tim Cook, maybe through her yoga buddy's ex who networked at a Silicon Valley retreat. You? Closer than you think, especially with apps turning the globe into your group chat. But is it legit? Or just a lucky fluke for Ahmed? And if it's real, does it turbocharge our lives, like job hooks, viral laughs, or epic romances, or crank up the chaos, letting rumors, viruses, or straight-up scams zip across borders faster than a bad tweet? Let's unpack it nice and easy, no PhD required. The roots go back to a Hungarian-born shrink named Frigyes Karanthai in 1929, who scribbled a sci-fi yarn guessing we could ping anyone via 5 intros max. But it blew up in the 60s thanks to Stanley Milgram, a social psych whiz at Harvard. He mailed 300 packets from Omaha, Nebraska, folks, regular Joes like insurance salesmen and housewives, to a random target, a corporate bigwig in Boston. Rule: forward it only to someone you know who might edge closer, like passing a hot potato toward Beantown. Only about 20% made it through the mail maze, but those that did? Average chain, 5, 2 hops. Not quite 6, but close enough to coin the phrase. Milgram called it the small world phenomenon, that jaw-dropper when you're at a backyard barbecue in Texas and bump into your old college roommate's cousin from Jersey. Dude, small world, huh? It's not fate, it's math doing the heavy lifting. Fast forward to today, and tech shrunk it further. Back in 2016, Facebook's data nerds crunched paths between 1.59 billion users and pegged the average at 3.57 degrees, down from 4.57 just 4 years earlier, thanks to pokes, shares, and friend requests gluing us tighter. That's you to Zuck himself in under 4 clicks. LinkedIn. It's a job hunter's dream web, where degrees of connection are baked in. First are your direct links. Second are their pals. Third, even further. With the average user rocking about 500 connections, your third-degree crew balloons to millions. Enough to snag intros to Fortune 500 CEOs without cold calling. Heck, in 2023, a viral LinkedIn challenge had folks mapping paths to Elon Musk. Most hit it in 2 to 3 hops via alumni groups or tech meetups. But why does this even work? Grab a napkin and scribble. Say you've got 100 real friends, not those ghost follows, but the crew you'd hit up for Super Bowl tickets or a midnight Uber. Each of them has 100 friends. Boom. Second hop, 10,000 peeps. Third, 1 million. Fourth, 100 million. Fifth, 10 billion. You've lapped the planet. Sure, overlaps happen. Your buddy's girlfriend is your gym pal. So dial it to 6 for wiggle room. In a random world, like if the app matched you with strangers from Siberia, this math guarantees we're all cheek to jowl. As mathematician Watts and Strogatz puts it, the puzzle isn't why the world's small. it's how it couldn't be. Plug in the formula for a random graph. Shout out to Paul Erdos and Alfred Rennie. Average path length is roughly log base, your friends per person, of total folks. For 8,100,000,000 links? About 5 hops. Easy peasy. Now, the fun twist. Ever play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? That bar game where you chain any actor to Bacon via co-stars. Turns out, it's scarily spot on. In Hollywood's 225,000-strong Rolodex, per IMDb, the average Bacon number hovers at 295, meaning most stars are 3 movies away from Footloose King. Example, take Scarlett Johansson. Step 1. She rom-commed with Chris Evans in The Holiday. Step 2. Evans caped up with Bacon in a superhero spoof. Done in 2. Or go wild. Link your uncle's favorite, John Wayne, to Bacon. Wayne saddled up with James Arness in Hondo, 1953. Arness badged it with Dennis Weaver in Gunsmoke. Weaver guest starred with Bacon in a 30-something EP. 4 hops, cowboy. It's why celebs feel like neighbors. 1 red carpet whisper and gossip globetrots. But here's the head-scratcher, the real paradox that keeps network geeks up at night. Life ain't random. We're cliquey as a high school cafeteria. You don't befriend randos in rural China. Your circle's the block party crew, the fantasy football league, the PTA moms from your kid's soccer team. Folks cluster geographically and socially. Your 100 pals mostly live within 50 miles, and half of them probably know each other too. That's clustering coefficient, in nerd speak, clocking 0. 3 in real life versus 0. 1 on Facebook. Model it out. Imagine 8 billion of us spaced evenly around Earth's equator like beads on a string. Each knows the 100 nearest, 50 left, 50 right. To reach the antipode, your polar opposite, you'd trek half the circle for billion steps. 6 hops? You'd barely clear your zip code, landing at neighbor Ned's back fence. In this bubbly setup, the world's huge, average path? Millions of intros, like dialing Ma Bell for the Queen of England. So how do we bridge it? Magic? Nah, shortcuts. Those wildcard links that leapfrog clusters, like your high school BFF who married a diplomat and now golfs with Saudi princes. 1 zap, and poof, local bubbles pop into a global foam. Without M, we're silos. With a sprinkle, say, 1% of ties, distances crash to 6 or less while keeping our cozy cliques intact. It's why you vacation in Vegas and over here. Wait, you know my brother from Philly? No way. Small world, big wow. Text the ultimate shortcut slinger. TikTok? That Beijing-born app, now ByteDance cash cow, turns a teen's bedroom dance in Boise into a duet with Ariana Grande overnight. Algorithm magic. Your vid gets 1 share from a local influencer, Hop 1. She collabs with a LA choreo pro, 2, who trains Grande's backup dancers, 3. Viral in 3, faster than Domino's delivery. Or Netflix binges. You cue Stranger Things, and its upside-down hooks you to a Finnish fanfic writer who DMs the Duffer Brothers, creators. For hops to Emmy glory. Even Amazon's customers also bought is a sneaky network, chaining your impulse buys to some guy's garage startup that lands Shark Tank. Poke around modern stats, and it's shrinking yearly. Microsoft's 2008 dive into instant messages, 180 million users strong, clocked 6 degrees, already a hair over 6, but that was pre-iPhone explosion. Today, with Zoom happy hours and Clubhouse chats, bet it's under 5. A 2023 study on global email webs pegged it at 4. 2. Crediting remote works web spinning. And for laughs, try the Erdos number project. Math folks chained to Paul Erdos, that collab happy Hungarian, like Bacon's game. Average. 14. Your calc prof? Probably 3 away. But hey, small world's got a shadow side. Like that uncle who forwards every chain email about Bigfoot voting fraud. If good spreads zippy, so does junk. Take COVID, patient 0 in Wuhan, hop 0, boards a flight to NYC. 1. Via airline hub. Coughs in JFK. 2. Infects a commuter to Chicago. 3. That guy's at a conference in Dallas. 4. Seeding clusters nationwide. By hop 5 to 6. Exponential boom. 50 million cases in months, per CDC logs. Hubs like O'Hare or LAX act as superspreaders. 1 delayed flight, and variants hitch global rides. Or misinformation. A QAnon post in a Reddit sub. 1. Gets amplified by a podcaster in Austin. 2. Retweeted by a MAGA influencer. 3. Picked up by Fox. 4. And, bam, Capitol storming in 6. Fact-checkers at PolitiFact trace 70% of 2020 election lies to under 20 accounts. Their reach? Planetary via shares. It's not just doom-scrolling. Cyber creeps exploit it too. Phishing scam hits your Gmail. 1. You click thinking it's from Aunt Linda. 2. Malware spreads to your office Slack. 3. Boss's laptop pings the company server. 4. By 5 to 6. Ransomware locks a hospital in Ohio, delaying surgeries. FBI warns. 80% of breaches start with social engineering, tricking that one weak link in your chain. And jobs? Yeah, 85% land via networks, LinkedIn stat. But that means nepotism sneaks in. Your buddy's referral skips the merit pool, irking the grinders. Yet, flip it positive, small world's a launchpad. That weak tie, the conference mingle you barely remember, sparks 60% of career leaps, per sociologist Mark Granovetter. You skipped the family reunion? Missed the cousin's tip on a remote gig at Pixar. Or romance. Bumble's Friends of Friends, Match Boosts hits 20%, chaining you to a barista in Brooklyn via a mutual from spin class. Even charity. 1 GoFundMe share from your yoga pal. 2. Ripples to a donor in Dubai. 4. Funding a kid's surgery. By 6. Wrap your head around the irony. We're more linked than cavemen with carrier pigeons, yet lonelier. Per Cigna's 2023 Loneliness Index, 58% of Americans feel isolated despite 1,000 plus friends online. Small world, big feels. As Veritasium's Derek Muller quips in his network deep dive vid, we're shrinking the planet daily. Great for memes, grim for malice. Ahmed's 6 to Brando. Proof we're all one plot twist away. But clusters keep us safe in pods. Shortcuts fling us far. Next up, why those bubbles burst the math, and how 2 brainiacs cracked the code. Until then, next time you small world, a stranger, tip your hat to the hidden web spinning it all. Okay. So we've got this wild notion that the world shrunk to a 6 handshake radius, right? From your corner deli guy in Brooklyn to Brando's ghost. Boom, connected. But hold up. If life's one big random buddy roulette, why doesn't it feel that way? Why do your weekend barbecues always end up with the same faces from down the block, not a surprise drop-in from a yak herder in Mongolia? Enter the clustering conundrum. The sneaky reason our social webs feel cozy and contained, even as they secretly span the globe. It's like living in a cul-de-sac bubble. Safe, familiar, but man, getting to the next suburb feels like crossing the Rockies. Think about your own crew for a sec. That group text blowing up about the Eagles game? Probably all locals from your Philly suburb. High school buds, gym rats, maybe a couple co-workers from the SEPTA commute. You don't wake up and swap numbers with a fisherman in Alaska unless fate's got a weird sense of humor. We humans are wired for proximity. 70% of our close ties are within 30 miles, per a 2022 Stanford study on social bubbles. It's evolution's fault. Back when saber-tooths prowled, sticking with your tribe beat solo treks. Fast forward to suburbia. Your neighborhood Facebook group gripes about leaf pickup, organizes block parties, and boom, you've got a clique where everyone's Aunt Karen knows Cousin Mike. That's clustering in action, the fraction of your friends who are also pals with each other. In real life, it's sky high, around 30% for tight-knit groups like sorority sisters or fantasy football diehards. On Facebook, drops to 10%, cause algorithms toss in that random college acquaintance from '09. Now, crank the math dial to extreme cluster mode and see what happens. Picture Earth as a massive hula hoop. 8 billion of us spaced out like solo dancers at a bad wedding. Each person links arms with the 100 nearest neighbors. 50 clockwise, 50 counter. Solid local vibe, right? Your circle's the ultimate HOA. Everyone chats over fences, shares lawnmower loans, waves at the mailman. But want to link up with the dude on the hoop's far side, say, from your Austin backyard to a beach bum in Mumbai? You'd have to shuffle halfway around for billion handoffs. Average chit-chat to anyone. A soul-crushing 2 billion steps. 6 hops in this setup? You'd barely hit the end of your street. Maybe snag away from the guy 2 houses over who still blasts Springsteen at dawn. It's the illusion of distance. Clusters make the world feel vast, like trying to Uber from LA to NYC via only side streets. No highways, just eternal gridlock. Veritasium's Derek Muller nailed this in his viewer experiment a decade back. He tossed a challenge. Link yourself to me via 6 degrees. Tag friends on YouTube. Thousands jumped in, mapping chains from podunk towns to his Sydney studio. Result? Average separation, a zippy 2. 7 hops. Not 6. Way tighter. 1 viewer from rural Ohio. My cousin's in tech down under. 1. Dated a producer on Derek's last collab. 2. Who emailed him last week. 2. 5. Close enough. That's this small world shock. You jet off to Disney World for spring break, and in line for Space Mountain, you overhear a dad from Jersey. Wait, you went to Rutgers? My wife's sister was your RA. Cue the fist bump and that electric no way buzz. It's not cosmic kismet. It's clusters pierced by sneaky bridges we never see coming. Let's geek out on a quick sim to drive it home. No coding required, just your imagination, or grab a coffee and sketch it. Start with a ring of 1,000 dots. Mini-Earth, say, a bustling college campus. Wire each to its 10 closest on either side, pure neighborhood mode. Paths between opposites, 50 hops flat. Scale to our 8 billion hoop, for billion to cross. Young city, but toss in reality's spice. We're not evenly spaced loners. We flock to cities. Half the world's jammed into urban hives. NYC alone packs 8 million into a grid where your barista knows your order and your Uber driver's kid goes to your niece's school. Clusters within clusters. Think high school cliques. Jocks link to cheerleaders, who link to theater kids. But good luck bridging to the debate team without a group project miracle. A 2019 MIT study mapped teen texts. 80% stayed within 5-mile radii, forming echo chamber pods where gossip loops like a bad TikTok trend. Humor break. Ever tried friending your way across family reunions? Aunt Edna knows cousin Bubba from the VFW hall. 1 hop. Local as apple pie. Bubba's golf buddies in real estate. 2. Still Midwest. But to hit great Uncle Zeke in Vegas? Suddenly it's a Sahara trek. Through poker nights, Elvis impersonators, and a shady timeshare pitch. 6 degrees? More like 16, with detours for pie fights. That's clustering's prank. It keeps drama contained. Yay, no global feuds over potato salad, but starves you of fresh air. In networks, this transitivity, fancy word for friends of friends or friends, hits 25 to 30% offline, way above random graphs near zero. Your LinkedIn? It's clustered by alma maters. All those Penn State alums linking up, forming a Nittany Lions fortress where outsiders knock in vain. So why the rub? If we're all bubbled up, how does the small world magic happen? Why can you chain from a Detroit auto worker to a Bollywood starlet in under 6? The puzzle's the payoff. Real networks aren't pure clusters or chaos. They're a Goldilocks mashup. Too clustered, and you're a hermit crab. Too random, and it's awkward speed dating with strangers. The sweet spot. A lattice with a few wild wires. Those weak ties that leapfrog your pod. Remember Granovetter's Strength of Weak Ties? That 1973 bombshell saying your loose acquaintances, the conference chat, the barista who remembers your name, deliver the gold. New jobs, 60% via them. Fresh gossip, even breakups that spark reinvention. Real talk example. You're grinding at a cubicle farm in Chicago, dreaming of that podcast side hustle. Your inner circle? Office drones swapping TPS reports. But that 1 week link, the vendor rep you met at a trade show in Vegas, tips you off to a gig at NPR's Chicago bureau. Hop 1 her. Hop 2. Her boss, who knows Ira Glass. 3. And you're mic'd up. Without that outlier tie, you're stuck in the cluster loop, like a goldfish circling its bowl. A 2021 Harvard Business Review piece crunched LinkedIn data. Weak ties boost career mobility by 25%. They're your escape hatches from the suburb silo. Zoom out to bigger bubbles, cities as megaclusters. LA sprawl? For million souls. But your Silver Lake hipster pod rarely mingles with Compton's barbecue kings, unless a food truck fest bridges it. Yet, one Uber pool ride, and suddenly you're swapping playlists with a Valley influencer. That's the illusion cracking. Geographic clusters, your zip code tribe, nest inside social ones, your spin class squad, all laced with random riffs. A 2024 Urban Institute report mapped U.S. social nets. 65% of ties stay local, but 15% jump states, enough to shrink national paths to 4 to 5 hops. For the lols, consider dating apps, Bumble or Hinge. They nudge mutual connections to bust clusters. You both know Sarah from yoga, turning potential catfish into small world sparks. But flop it. Imagine a pure cluster Tinder, matching only blockmates. You'd swipe on the same 20 faces forever, like a bad episode of The Hills. No thanks. Or workplace woes. Remote work post-COVID clustered us into Zoom silos. Your team's a virtual cul-de-sac. Result? Gallup's 2023 poll. 40% of hybrid workers feel disconnected, craving those hallway weak ties that used to spark ideas over coffee. Derek's viewer stunt? Pure gold for this. Folks from Boise to Boston chained in. A Seattle teacher, one hop via a Veritasium collab school. Her hubby in finance, 2. Knows a donor, who golfs with Derek's agent, 3. Average 2. 7. That's clusters turboed by YouTube's global fan web. Weak ties galore. 1 gem. A kid from Kansas. My science fair project got shout out by Derek's channel. 1. Which my mom follows. Wait, that's 0? Huh. Kid nailed the paradox. We're nested in pods, but media's the great unclusterer. Dark side alert. Clusters breed echo chambers. Your Fox News feed? A red state bubble where fake news bounces eternally. Blue bubbles on MSNBC? Same trap. A 2022 Pew study. 60% of Americans get news from like-minded sources. Widening divides. 6 degrees to the other side. Feels like 60. Or health scares. Anti-vax pockets in Idaho cluster tight. Ignoring CDC chains that could link M to experts in 6 hops. Boom. Measles outbreaks in 2019, all from bubbled holdouts. But here's the teaser. What if we could model this mush, clusters plus chaos, to explain the magic? Enter 2 math wizards in the 90s who twisted the knob on randomness and unlocked the small world secret. Next part. There, Eureka, sim that proves why your random invite to that networking mixer might just rewrite your Rolodex. Until then, scan your next crowd. That stranger with the small world story? Thank the clusters and the cracks that connect us all. All right, brainiacs, we've cracked the cluster code. We're all hunkered in our neighborhood pods, swapping memes with the same 20 faces, wondering why the world's not one big, awkward family reunion. But somehow, those bubbles don't trap us. We leapfrog to Tokyo sushi spots or Silicon Valley unicorns in a blink. How? Enter the dynamic duo of the 90s, Duncan Watts and Steve Strogatz, Two Cornell math wizards who didn't just ponder the paradox, they simulated it into oblivion. Picture them in a dimly lit lab, pre-iPhone era, armed with chunky PCs and a wild hunch. No Netflix binges, just code and coffee, chasing the ghost of why your random Tinder match might link back to your ex's prom date. Their breakthrough? A simple twist on the dial that turned network theory from snooze fest to sci-fi thriller. Buckle up. This is the eureka moment that rewired how we see everything from your buddy list to brain cells. Flash to Ithaca, New York, mid-1990s. Watts, a fresh-faced physics postdoc with a knack for big-picture brainstorms, teams up with Strogatz, the tenured prof who's already tamed chaos theory like it was a rowdy puppy. Back then, networks were nerd turf. Physicists poked at tidy lattices, think crystal grids, all predictable bonds, while graph gurus like Paul Erdos spun random webs, pure dice roll connections, no rhyme or reason. But real life? Messy middle ground. Your social sphere's got that block party huddle plus the uncle who winters in Florida and golfs with senators. There's got to be a Goldilocks zone. What's figured? Not too rigid, not total anarchy. Strogatz, with his dry wit and wild curls, nodded. Let's crank the randomness knob and watch what brews. Their lab rat. A humble ring of nodes. Think 1,000 dots in a circle, each wired to its nearest neighbors, say, 2 on each side for that ultimate cul-de-sac feel. Pure cluster city. Paths to the opposite dot? 500 hops, like schlepping from Seattle to NYC on a unicycle. Plug in the math. Average path length is almost equal to n/2k, where n's total nodes and k's links per node, and it's a slog. Watts codes it up. Start at the regular end. Everyone's glued to locals, clustering coefficient jack to 1. Every friend knows every other friend. It's like your family Thanksgiving, all elbows and inside jokes. Now, the magic, they rewire a fraction of those links at random. Snip a local tie, glue it to some far-flung dot across the ring. Not mass chaos, just a sprinkle of shortcuts, those golden tickets that vault you over the traffic jam. Cue the big reveal, straight out of a Hollywood montage. Watts runs the sim, eyes glued to the screen as he nudges that knob from 0% rewired, total order, to 100%, mad random. At first, yawn, paths barely budge. But crank to 1%, just 1 in 100 links flipped to a long-haul jumper, and bam, average separation plummets from 50 hops to a breezy 10. The ring shrinks like a deflating whoopee cushion. Crank further, and by 10% rewired, it's down to 3, smaller than your morning commute. But here's the kicker, the plot twist that popped the champagne. Clustering? It holds steady. At 1% chaos, your local pods stay as tight as a frat house. Fraction of friends who know friends dips barely a blip from 1 to 0. 99. It's the holy grail. Small paths, global zip, with high clustering, local love. As Strogatz later quipped in interviews, the world snaps small instantly, but clings to its neighborhoods like a bad habit. Watts, ever the visionary, geeked out. This isn't tweaking graphs. It's unveiling a new universe. Laws, properties, the works. Strogatz, the skeptic-turned-believer, chuckled. We started with physicists' crystals, ended with life's secret sauce. Their 1998 Nature paper? A lean 3-pager that exploded like a fireworks finale. 58,000 citations by now, outpacing Higgs boson's big reveal and nipping at Watson and Crick's DNA heels. Why the frenzy? 'Cause it wasn't abstract scribbles, it explained you. That small world zinger at the airport bar? Not luck, it's your network's 1% shortcuts at play. Let's paint it vivid. Imagine your social circle as that ring. Your node 500, wired to 499 to 501, your block buddies. But toss in a shortcut. Say, your cousin's a flight attendant who crashes weddings in Vegas. Rewired link to node 200. Suddenly, her showgirl pal, node 150, Links to a casino mogul, 50, who golfs with Buffett, 10. 5 hops from your cul-de-sac to Berkshire Hathaway boardrooms. Real-life analog. Strogatz' own gem. He's deep in the internet chess club, pre-Google era, trash-talking pawns with a Dutch grandmaster. That virtual handshake? A shortcut leaping his Ithaca ivory tower to Amsterdam alleys. My Cornell crew had no clue, he laughs. But bam, they're one hop from Rotterdam via me. It's the quiet revolution, one outlier tie, and your pod's plugged into the matrix. Scale it to planet-sized stakes, and the math sings. For our 8 billion hoop, each with 100 links, 50 each way, pure clusters mean 40 million average hops to a stranger, eternal email chains. But Watts Strogatz magic, rewired just 0.03%. That's 3 shortcuts per 10,000 friendships, and paths crash to 6. Tiny tweak, tidal shift. Why so potent? Shortcuts act like wormholes in sci-fi. They don't just connect, they compress. In sim lingo, path length L is almost equal to ln n/ln k for random nets, but their hybrid keeps the log small while clustering C stays fat. C is almost equal to 3k/n for locals, barely dented. Plug in n equals 8e9, k equals 100, boom, L equals 4. 8 with a whisper of rewiring. As Strogatz sums it in his TED vibe, question isn't why small, it's how could it not be? Nature's rigged the game. Humor injection. Ever bail on that networking mixer cause none of your crews going? Sigh, Netflix calls. But roll the dice, show up solo, and wham, you jaw with a startup whiz who knows your old prof from MIT. Shortcut forged. Watts nails the sociology hook. It's Granovetter's weak ties on steroids. Those acquaintance sparks that turbo your opportunities. A 2023 HBR survey? Folks who chase one random event monthly snag 40% more career boosts. Your vibe? Ugh, schmoozing strangers? Pass. But that's the knob. Turn it. And life's a sim where 1% flips rewrite your script. Their model didn't stay in Simland. It infiltrated the wild. Take power grids. U.S. Eastern Interconnect. A lattice of lines snaking from Florida swamps to Maine lobster traps. Mostly local loops, clusters for stability, but toss in a few long-haul towers, shortcuts like HVDC lines zapping from NYC to Chicago, and blackouts? Contained. But hack a shortcut. Remember 2003's Northeast Plunge? And Cascades Domino 50 million folks offline. Watts and crew simmed it. In a small world grid, one fault ripples 10x farther than pure clusters. Cue the irony. Shortcut speed juice and outages. Or dive brain deep. Neurons fire in lattice-like layers, but shortcuts, long axons leaping lobes, make thoughts zip. Strogatz worm test? We'll hit that next part, but spoiler. C. Elegance 302 neuron noggin clocks too. 65 paths, small world central. Your gray matter? Same sauce. Prefrontal shortcuts link. What if worries to gut feel decisions, turning cluster-bound impulses into genius leaps. Pop culture nod. Ever binge The Wire? Baltimore's streets as clusters, corner boys, docks, towers, rewired by a few kingpins' phone trees. One flip phone call, shortcut, and the whole drug web quakes. Or Marvel's multiverse. Portals as rewired links, shrinking infinite realms to 6 snaps. Fans mapped the MCU graph. Average hero separation? 3. 2 hops via Avengers crossovers. But the real juice? Dynamical ripple effects. Watts and Strogatz weren't graph huggers. They were sync sleuths. So what if small? Strogatz mused. Does it jazz disease spread? Info flow. Sinking fireflies? Their sims showed. Shortcuts don't just shorten, they accelerate. In a cluster net, a flu bug crawls local like molasses. Add 1% jumps, and it's jet fuel, global in days, not decades. We'll sim that next. But trust, 73 days to infect a 1,000-ring world drops to 26 with tweaks. Philosophy drop. This ain't trivia, it's worldview. Pre-Watts Strogatz. Networks were binary, order or noise. Now, a continuum where life's tuned to that 1% sweet spot. Strogatz in sync. It's why crickets chirp in unison, why the net hums. Watts, post-Cornell at Microsoft, chased human apps. His Small Worlds book? Bible for LinkedIn's algo, nudging weak ties your way. A 2024 update? Their citations hit 60K, still climbing, outpacing quantum entanglement papers. Laugh track. Imagine pitching this in 96. Dude, your Facebook's gonna be a rewired ring. Cue eye rolls. But 28 years on. Zuck's empire. 3 billion users, paths at 3. 5 hops, all via suggested friends, subtle shortcuts. Or your Spotify shuffle. Clusters of indie rock, pierced by a pop detour that hooks you on Billie Eilish. Teaser time. Their model aced the worm brain, proving nature's hooked. But real-world tests? Hollywood stars, grids, even epidemics. Next, how a millimeter mud dweller and Kevin Bacon proved it's universal, and why you're boring. Invite might forge the tie that ties it all. Until then, scan your Rolodex. That one outlier, pal? Thank Watts and Strogatz. They mapped the knob that shrunk your world. Phew, we've knobbed our way through the Watts-Strogatz wizardry, rewiring a ring of randos into a small world sweet spot where your backyard barbecue suddenly vibes with a Bollywood bash. But theory's cheap, proof's the pudding. So, did their model hold up in the wild, or was it just lab rat smoke? Spoiler, it aced the pop quiz, from a squirmy soil dweller's brain to Tinseltown's star-studded Rolodex. And along the way, it unearthed a gem, the strength of weak ties, those flimsy, hey, we met at that thing, links that pack more punch than your ride-or-die crew. Buckle up, 'cause we're testing the model on everything from millimeter mud monsters to Marvel cameos. And yeah, it'll make you rethink that boring coffee chat. First stop, the unlikeliest lab star ever, a nematode worm called C. elegans, the neurogeek's pet project since the 80s. This bad boy, a millimeter-long dirt digger with exactly 302 neurons, mapped down to every synaptic squiggle by Sidney Brenner's crew, Nobel nod in 2002. Why care? It's the only critter whose full brain wiring was etched like a subway map. Every axon, dendrite, the works. Pre-Watts Strogatz, physicists figured it'd be a tidy lattice. Neurons lined up along the worm's wiggle, each chatting to 14 locals. Paths from tail tip to noggin top. About 40 hops in a straight-line sim, average 14, efficient for burrowing, but no globetrotting genius. Watts and Strogatz crunched the real data. Average separation? A snappy 2. 65 hops. Not randoms 2. 25, but close. Small world central. Clustering? High as a kite, 0. 28, way above random's zilch. It's their model in micro. A worm brain lattice laced with a fistful of long axon leaps, letting signals zip from sense grub to squirm now in under 3. Strogatz, popping virtual bubbly. Bingo, nature's doing it. Why trip? 'Cause if a worm's noggin's small world, bet yours is too. Human brains? 86 billion neurons, but fMRI scans show prefrontal shortcuts linking gut hunch clusters to logic lobe pods, explaining why you nail that trivia night question out of nowhere. Or flop, ADHD as shortcut overload, thoughts leaping like popcorn. But worms are squishy. Let's glam it up with Hollywood. Watts and Strogatz, data hounds in 96. Google? Nah, dial-up dreams. Snag the choicest dataset. Thespians tango via co-stars. Oracle of Bacon? Nope. Raw IMDb guts. 225,000 actors strong. Edges for every on-screen smooch or sword fight. Expect A cluster fest. Method actors huddle with indie darlings. Blockbusters blob with A-listers. Paths from obscure theater kid to De Niro. Eternal improv. Reality? Average degrees, under 4. Clustering? Plump at 0. 2. Your Sopranos cast knows each other cold, but shortcuts via crossovers shrink the scene. Exhibit A. Kevin Bacon's Eternal Game. Footloose footwork links him to everybody. Average Bacon number 2. 95. Take Meryl Streep. Hop 1. She Devil Wears Prada D with and Hathaway. Hop 2. Hathaway Ocean's 8. Ed with Bacon. 2 degrees, baby. Or stretch. Buster Keaton, Silent Era Slapstick King. Keaton * Sunset Boulevard *. Ed with Gloria Swanson, 1950. Swanson Airport 1975. Ed with Bacon's pal. Wait. Chain via All the President's Men to Hoffman to Hook with Dusty. For Hops Max. Why? Blockbusters as shortcuts. Avengers as symbols clusters. Avengers Pod. With leaps to Guardians Galaxies. A 2023 fan sim on Reddit? MCU graph clocks 3. 1 degrees. Thanos to Spider-Man in 3 via Infinity cameos. It's why celeb scandals spread like wildfire. 1 TMZ tip, weak tie, and poof, global tabloid tango in 6. Power grids. Same sauce, but with volts instead of velvet ropes. U.S. webs. 3,000 plants feeding 300 million via 200,000 miles of lines. Mostly local loops, cluster for backup, but high-voltage highways, shortcuts from Hoover Dam to NYC. What sims it? Small world structure means one blown transformer ripples regional, not national. But 2003's Great Blackout? A software glitch in Ohio zapped a shortcut line, cascaded to 50 million dark in 10 seconds, from Detroit diners to Toronto towers. Model check. High clustering kept most pockets lit. Shortcuts amplified the oof. Today, FERC mandates small world audits, rewire for resilience, or risk another August sweat fest. Now, the human hook, strength of weak ties. Mark Granovetter's 1973 mic drop. Picture. You're job hunting in Atlanta. Inner circles your frat bros. Great for beers, zilch for leads. But that loose link? The conference booth babe from 18 who friend you on LinkedIn. She pings, hey, my old gig at Delta's hiring analysts. Bam, interview. Granovetter surveyed 282 Boston pros. 56% landed via acquaintances, not family or BFFs. Why? Strong ties, your pod. Echo the same stale info. Week one's bridge fresh worlds. It's the shortcut in people form, low emotional bandwidth, high info flow. Real talk yarn. You're a mid-level marketer in Seattle, grinding Rainier views. Cruise the coffee clatch, same gripes, no game changers. But you drag to that optional TEDx mixer. Sigh, no Netflix tonight. Schmooze a stranger. Ex-Amazon PM turned indie consultant. Weak tie sparks. Ever thought podcasts? 6 months later, you're her co-host. Side hustle 6 figures. Veritasium's Derek nails it. Those invites? Dice roll gold. Productivity jackpot. A 2022 Stanford study? Weak tie networkers snag 35% more promos, cause they snag diverse scoops, like hybrid work hacks from a Cali coder. Flip to flip side. Weak ties as wild cards. Your pod's echo. All Bears fans. Bears lose. Collective groan. But Uncle's weak link. A Packers diehard. Spills tailgate tips that bond you over beef. Or romance roulette. Hinges we have mutuals badge. Weak tie bait. Boosting matches 18%, app stat. But bust. That random, happy hour sparks drama if it loops back to your ex's orbit. Cue the sim spotlight, disease dash. Derek Ropes and Casper, sim whiz, for a 1,000 node showdown. Setup, SIR model, susceptible infected recovered, 1 patient 0. Regular ring? Infection creeps cluster bound, 73 days to wipe the world, like flu fizzling in a gated burb. Add 10% shortcuts? Boom! 26 days, exponential ramp like Black Friday stampede. Random full? 25 days, indistinguishable. Why? Shortcut seed outbreaks. One hack in your pod jumps to Tokyo in a hop. Scale to 8 billion. K equals 100 less than 1% jumps needed for 6-day globals. Casper quips. 1 in 10 friends of far-flung? Spot on for jet-setters like you, Derek. Modern menace. COVID's hub horror. 2020, Wuhan wet market, cluster 0, to Seattle via direct flight, shortcut 1. Infected commuter to NYC subways. 2. Seeding burrow bubbles. By 3 to 4. O'Hare and JFK hubs blast to Europe, Asia. Who traced? 80% cases via air travel shortcuts. Delta variant hop Delhi to Detroit in 72 hours. A 2021 Nature paper? Small World models nailed it. Predicted 90% spread via 5% long-range links. Flip positive. Vax drives targeted hubs. J&J shots at airports slashed U.S. Cases 40%, CDC. Shortcuts cut both ways. Virus vectors or vaccine veins. Tie it to ties. Weak links as double-edged swords. Your travel buddy, Strong Tie, shares your sniffles local. But conference flirt, weak? Exports to their coast, seeding superspreader soirees. Granovetter 2. 0. In pandemics, weak tie pruning. Ghost that globetrotter, curbs cascades. Yet for info, gold. 1 weak link tweet from a doc pal alerts your pod to boosters. Bridging to CDC clarity. Pop hook. The social network. Zuck's weak tie to Harvard hackers sparks Facebook, rewiring billions. Or Inception. Dream layers as clusters. Kicks as shortcuts. Leaping subconscious silos. Fans mapped it. Average dream hop. 2. 8. Small world dreams. Dark dash. Toxicity turbo. Weak ties fling hate. 1 alt-right podcaster, cluster, DMs a mainstream journo, shortcut, birthing viral vitriol. 2023 Pew. 45% of U.S. adults dodge online weak ties post-Gen 6. Fear of the leap. Opti-twist. Chase M wisely. That sigh invite. Flip the coin. Could chain you to your dream gig, like Ahmed to Brando. Granovetter's legacy. Weak ties aren't flaky. They're flywheels, spinning stale pods into stellar spheres. Teaser. Model aced worm, walk of fame, Watts, but hubs lurk deeper. Next, how Webb was Veritasium flipped the script, unearthing superconnectors that make or break empires, from O'Hare outages to HIV halts. Until then, nurture that loose link. It might just be your 6-degree superpower. Whoa, we've wormed our way through weak ties and watched diseases dash like caffeinated squirrels in a small world sprint. But hold the phone. Watts and Strogatz rewired rings nailed the how of short paths, sprinkle chaos, shrink the globe. Yet, peek under the hood of real nets, and something's off. Your Facebook feed? Not a uniform sprinkle of shortcuts. It's a fire hose from a handful of mega-influencers, while your humble posts gather digital dust. Enter Albert Laszlo Veritasium, the Hungarian-born network ninja who, in '98, flipped the script. Forget random rewires. Real webs bloom hubs. Superstars with spokes to thousands, turning the graph into a lopsided wheel. Picture Yahoo in the dial-up days. Not a buddy next door, but a central hub linking every AOL warrior to cat video pioneers. Hubs don't just connect, they command. But like any rock star, they steal the show. And if they crash, so does the gig. From O'Hare meltdowns to HIV heroics, this is the hub hustle. Powerhouse perks and Achilles ankle twists. Q 1998, Notre Dame's sleepy Midwest labs. Veritasium, a fresh emigre with a physics PhD and a beard that screams mad scientist, dives into the web. Then a scrappy 800 million page playground, pre-Google swagger. Expectation? A bell curve bliss. Most sites with a modest 5 to 10 links and slash out. tails fizzling like average Joe heights, 5 feet 9 inches central, outliers rare. Tool up. Crawlers snag a chunk of the net, crunch degrees, links per page. Plot it. No bell, it's a power law party. Steep cliff on the left, zillions of linkless leaf pages, then a dragon tail drag. A smattering of monsters with 1000 plus spokes, like Yahoo's directory empire or early porn portals sucking traffic like black holes. Average path, 19 clicks, small world tight. But structure? Hub heaven, central wheels with rims radiating to the bonus. Veritasium, eyes wide. This ain't random, it's rigged. Know what's rewires. Hubs emerge organically. Why? 2 laws of the jungle. Growth. Nets don't spawn big. They snowball, 1 node at a time. And preferential attachment. Newbies latch to the linked up. Cause who's hotter? Lonely leaf or link lord? It's fame's feedback loop. You join Facebook? Friend requests fly to Zuck's 10K crew before your 3rd grade crush. Veritasium and postdoc Rika Albert Simmet. Seed a mini-net with M0 nodes, all linked. Add 1 newbie per tick. Sprouting M edges bias to high-degree hotties. Prob is proportional to degree. Code words. Hubs balloon. Start symmetric. In with a barbell. Few fat cats. Masses of minnows. Power law pops. Degree distribution P, K, K caret, gamma. Gamma is almost equal to 2-3. Plug-in web scale. 19 hops via hubs, not shortcuts. As Veritasium boasts in linked. Growth plus preference? Hubs inevitable, like Paris Hilton at a party. Visualize the sim. Grab a mental etch, a sketch tiny cluster. Say 5 nodes in a pentagon. Newbie 6 attaches. 50-50 shot to any, but biased to the duo with 2 links each. Tick 7. Odds skew 60% to those duo hubs. By node 20, 1 beast boasts 8 spokes. Orphans dangle with 1. Scale to 1000. Top dog hits 100 plus. Will spokes splaying to the sticks. Casper, our sim's sidekick, runs a fancier. Nodes wiggle like space junk, latching green to glowing hubs. Looks organic, Derek geeks, like a solar system with planet-sized planets. Veritasium Eureka. Virtually all large nets follow this. www, citations, airlines. It's why your Google search zips, not random crawls, but PageRank prizing hub authority. Airports, hub poster child. Rewind to 1955. Chicago's O'Hare cracks open. Long runways for jets. Acres of tarmac versus midway squeeze. United sniffs opportunity. Shifts flights. Lures passengers with seamless swaps. Feedback frenzy. More routes draw more carriers. American, Delta pile on. Juicing connections. Post, 1978 deregulation. Explosion. Low fares flood. O'Hare's Halo hooks Heartland hops. Today, 200 plus direct destinations. 80 million passengers yearly. U.S. Kingpin, spokes to 300 plus cities. Veritasium analog. New routes attach preferentially. O'Hare's buzz begets more buzz, like a viral TikTok racking views. A 2024 FAA map. Power law pure. O'Hare, degree 250 plus. Atlanta, Hartsfield, 260. Then a tail of twig airports with 10 to 20. Ecosystems echo. Atlantic cod is Keystone Hub. Cod chow on shrimp, get chomped by seals. Linking 100 plus species in a food web wheel. Overfish M, 1960s trawler boom. Spoke snap. Herring explode. Seabirds starve. Plankton blooms choke bays. Veritasium lens. New fish attached to cod-rich reefs. Hubs stabilize or shatter the chain. Yellowstone wolves. Alpha hub predators. Spokes to elk. Willows. Beavers. Reintro in 95 rebuilt the park's web. Rivers rerouting via beaver dams. Bio blueprint. Cells as hub hives. ADP. That energy molecule. Spokes to 500 plus reactions. Adenosine triphosphate. The cell's cash cow. New pathways. Latched to ADP's abundance, per metabolic maps. Knock it. Cellular crash, like yanking a dam's turbine. Or brain bits. Prefrontal cortex hubs, 200+ regions. Exec function spokes from memory pods to motor maps. fMRI power loss. Hub damage, strokes, cascades cognition. But hubs? Double-barreled dynamite. The Achilles heel. Superconnectors amplify everything. Good, bad, blackout. August 2025. Thunderheads hammer O'Hare. 280 flights canned. 80 diverted. Overflow jamming ORD's Six Sisters. LAX. JFK et al. Europe/Asia stranding? Planes iced in Chicago, rippling to Heathrow log jams. Veritasium. One hub hiccup? Nationwide in 24 hours. Simit. HubNet outage spreads 5x faster than uniform. Cause spokes funnel failure. 2003 blackout redux. Ohio line sags. Hits a tree. Cascades via PJM hub to 618 megawatts gone. 50 million dark. Flip heroic. Target hubs to tame turmoil. Thailand's HIV saga. 1990. Asia's fastest epidemic. 150K cases yearly. Broad PSAs flop. Condoms optional in Bangkok's red light sprawl. Pivot 1991. Gov mandates brothels, hubs, high-volume sex spots, spokes to clients/soldiers. Enforce condoms or shutter. Compliance? 90% in months. Military recruits infection rate halves, from 50% to 20%. By 2013, Ministry tallies 5.3 million averted. Hubs as halt points, spokes starved. Veritasium's playbook. Achilles for foes, hub drugs kill bugs. Network Med. Target cancer's ADP spokes, or HIV's CCR5 hubs. CRISPR trials/viral loads 99%. Dark Dash. Hubs hoist havoc. Cyber. SolarWinds 2020 hack. Russian creeps burrow into a software hub. Spokes to 18K orgs, including Treasury. One breach. Global bleed. Firewalls bypassed via trusted ties. Or social storms. Twitter. X. Hubs. 10 accounts drive 80% political reach. 2024 Pew. One Q drop from a mega poster. Misinfo spokes to millions. January 6th vibes. Veritasium warns. Hubs change behavior. Fragile fame. Philosophy pit stop. Hubs. Boon or bust. Boon. Efficiency engines. O'Hare's Web. 70% U.S. Flights hubbed. Slashing fares 50% since 78. DOT. Cod hubs. Biodiversity blooms. ADP. Life's hustle. But bust. Single point sag. Climate. Carbon hubs. Fossil plants. Spokes to warming. Knock. M. Renewables pivot. Cool the globe. Inequality Inc. Hubs hoard. Top 1% wealth spokes. Power laws per Piketty. Yet. Nurture M. Startup hubs. Silicon Valley. Spawn unicorns via VC spokes. Pop Pulse. Moneyball. Beans stats as hub spotting. Latching undervalued players to A's wheel. Or the social network. Zuck's dorm hub spokes to billions. Preferential fame from Harvard hacks. MCU. Infinity Gauntlet as ultimate hub. Snaps all spokes. Humor hit. Dating a hub? Tinder's top 10% snag 58% likes. App leak. Preferential swipe. Leaving normies swiping shadows. Or airport rage. O'Hare delay? Your pod's fine. Hub hell means your LA layover's a lounge limbo. Opti out. Hubs inevitable, but harness them. Thailand tamed. Weekend 2. Vax hubs. Green grids. Diverse spokes. Veritasium's coda. Understand hubs? Rewrite the rules. Teaser. Nets shape souls. Hubs yank strings on beliefs. From prisoners' ploys to world-warping whims. Finale. How connections flip nice to nasty. But choice claws back control. One stubborn spark to seismic shift. Until then, spot your hubs. That influencer pal? Well spoke. Spin wisely. Let's rewind to 1997. Duncan Watts and Strogatz are still buzzing from their big breakthrough. The rewired rings that make the world feel so small. Graphs are fun and all, but what's the real point? Strogatz, with his wild hair and sharp eyes, throws out a challenge. Does this small world magic help fireflies sync their flashes? Does it speed up epidemics? Or, get this, does it change how we decide to play nice with each other? That's when they dive into the prisoner's dilemma. It's this classic game theory puzzle from the 1940s, cooked up by John von Neumann during the Cold War, when spies were trading secrets for smokes. The setup is simple. You and a stranger are in a room with two choices: cooperate or defect. If you both cooperate, you each get 3 coins. If you cooperate and they defect, they walk with 5 and you get zilch. If you both defect, you each scrape by with 1. Logic says defect every time. It covers your bases. But if you're both logical, you're stuck in a lousy spot. 1 coin each when 3 could have been fair and square. Sound familiar? It's why traffic jams happen. Everyone cuts lanes to save a second. Or why arms races kick off. Better safe than sorry. But here's the twist that Robert Axelrod added in 1980. Play the game 200 times in a row. Repetition builds a little mercy. He ran a tournament for the world's top game theorists, and the winner was tit for tat. Start by cooperating, then just copy what your opponent did last round. If they betray you, hit back once, but always give them a shot at making nice next time. Clusters make it work even better. A tight group of cooperators can take over a sea of defectors, because those repeated run-ins reward trust over time. Watts runs the sim on their ring network, 1,000 nodes, each playing all 8 neighbors at once. The rule? If most of your neighbors cooperated last round, you cooperate too. Start with a little island of nice guys surrounded by backstabbers. Tick by tick, the good guys spread like wildfire. Tit for tat waves wash over everything, hitting 80% harmony by the end. Utopia achieved. Now, turn that rewiring knob just a bit. Add 1% shortcuts. Boom. Cooperation cracks like thin ice. Your cozy island of trust? Now it's riddled with far-off defectors who can stab from a distance, with no real consequences. Those shortcuts scatter your sense of safety. Your local crew stays solid, but one leap to a distant backstabber poisons the whole vibe, and retaliation bounces the wrong way. Crank the rewiring from 0%, co-op paradise, 90% happy endings, to 10%. There's a sharp drop-off. Past 5%, the final share of cooperators crashes to 0. Defect all the way. What sums it up? Same players, same smarts. Just tweak the connections, and paradise freezes over. It's a real gut punch. Networks don't just connect us. They load the dice on whether we act decent or not. For a quick laugh, think about the last time you rage tweeted a politician at 2 a.m. That's the dilemma gone digital, full keyboard warrior mode. In real life, you'd nod along with your uncle's hot takes at Thanksgiving dinner. Online, those shortcuts to echo chamber mobs make defecting feel oh so satisfying. Twitter, sorry, X, is the ultimate small world saboteur. Your buddy group retweets the fury, cozy cluster style, but one viral jump to a troll farm, and you're knee-deep in the pylon. A 2023 Pew study found 55% of Americans pulled back from social media after January 6th. Those shortcuts exposed the raw venom, turning what should have been debate into a dogfight. Strogatz hits the nail. The internet isn't the shield of a small town. Anyone can snipe at you from the shadows, no face-to-face fallout. It explains the whole anonymous rage thing. Most folks are total sweethearts over DoorDash in person. Log in, and you're a Discord dragon, defecting because distance numbs the sting. What wasn't done with Sims? He wanted real people. In 2002, he rounded up 4,000 college kids for a web-based version of the public goods game. A twist on the dilemma. Toss money into a shared pot? Everyone splits it, but freeloaders get fat. He varied the networks. Tight clusters, local loops. versus random rewires full of shortcuts. His hunch. More shortcuts meant less generosity, matching the sim. Surprise. Nope. Cooperation held steady at about 40% across the board. Total head-scratcher, Watts admitted. Digging deeper, he saw the pattern in clusters, mimicry rules. If the first player starts generous, the whole group piles in, hitting 80% harmony. If they kick off selfish, it snowballs to stingy, down to 10% giving. On average, it balances out, like walking a knife's edge, where one random choice tips the whole table. Random networks? Same average, but with wilder swings. A single defector's shortcut can seed selfishness across the globe way faster. The light bulb moment. Real life gives you agency. You get to pick your playmates. Rerun the experiment. Let players swap connections after each round, ditching the deadbeats. They could spot defectors by their scores. Boom! Cooperation jumps 25%, especially in those shortcut-heavy setups. Why? Choice becomes a cooperation booster. Ghost the jerks, stick with the givers. Casper, the sim whiz, chimes in. Get proactive with your pruning, and you turn poison into progress. Derek nods along. That's what I tell my kids. If a classmate's a drag, just ignore him. No upside to feeding negativity loops. A 2024 Harvard simulation backs it. Players with network choice hit 70% harmony, even in tangled webs, because we curate our clusters, building tit-for-tat tribes that actually stick. On the dark side, that knife edge cuts deep for trouble. One selfish starter in a tight cluster? It dooms the whole dinner party. Mimicry just mirrors the meanness. Online, it's cranked to 11. Cambridge Analytica's 2016 mind games targeted those wobbly weak ties, shortcutting fear to swing votes. Or the echo chamber extremes. Cannon's pure pod, pierced by 4chan shortcuts, birthed capital chaos straight from basement message boards. But here's the bright flip. That same edge hands power right to us. History's full of lone wolves with leverage. Take Rosa Parks in 1955. One stubborn seat refusal, a push against her local bubble, shortcuts through NAACP connections, and it snowballs into the Montgomery bus boycott. A global earthquake for civil rights. Steve Jobs' story. 1976 garage, Wozniak's wizardry in a cluster of hippie hackers. A weak tie to the homebrew computer club, shortcut to tech big shots. It ignites the Apple One. Preferential pull kicks in. Early fans latch on. Hubs bloom. And by 1984, the Mac's a million seller. Jobs' famous line. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Or Greta Thunberg in 2018. Solo school strike in Stockholm. A one-person cluster. Instagram shortcut to celebs, going viral through weak tie activists. By 2019, millions marching. Fridays for Future spokes reaching UN halls. One teen on the edge? She tipped the whole climate conversation. Movements are like network nukes. The Arab Spring in 2011. Facebook clusters in Cairo coffee shops. Twitter shortcuts to Tahrir Square leaps. One fruit vendor's self-immolation, Hop Zero. Hubs like Ghanem amplify it, toppling regimes in a ripple. Or hashtag #MeToo. Alyssa Milano's 2017 tweet. Weak tie to Tarana Burke's 2006 spark. Preferential spread via celeb spokes. 19 million posts in a week, reshaping Hollywood's HR game. What's choice-powered game? It echoes evolutionary biology. Ant colonies as co-op clusters, scout shortcuts to sugar hubs. Tit-for-tat trails trounce lone looters. Or brain wiring. Neural nets teeter on the edge. Dopamine spikes tip, cooperate, over cave. But OCD acts like defector shortcuts, looping harm. At the philosophical peak, networks are like a hall of mirrors. They reflect our choices, but they're always primed for a pivot. Strogatz puts it. That Disney tune about a small world? Nah, it exposes the malice we used to dodge in our Mayberry towns. Net negative overall. Up for debate. Social media's a mixed bag. Pew's 2023 poll says 52% feel more connected, 38% more anxious. But choice? That's your superpower. Imagine this. It all starts with you. Believe in the power? You change the world. Networks shape us, but we shape them right back. Choose wisely. Chase uplifting weak ties. Hit that mixer. Prune the poison, ghost the gloom, and spark the stubs. One post, one protest. As Casper wraps it, Sims are online. Tweak your own world. Hey, night owls chasing paradoxes. If this midnight maze of networks has got your brain spinning like a vortex in the dark, hit that subscribe button for Midnight Paradox. Fresh riddles are waiting. Quantum weirdness or black holes spilling secrets. Ding the bell, drop a comment. What's your craziest 6 degrees story?